29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19.
18.
17.
16.
15.
14.
13. 12.
11.
10.
8.
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7.
5.
4.
3.
2. 1.
0.
I don't know where Jason's at. So sorry. It's not what do you call it? Clickbait. I don't know. I tried texting him, I tried calling him, and then I was like, I gotta start the live feed. So if he doesn't show up, we'll just delete the whole fucking thing. So, and I would ask you guys, please check your subscription or not subscription. Yeah, your subscription status, because people are telling me once again that they are not getting notifications of anything I'm putting up. And I can tell there's only 8 people here on a Saturday when I typically, especially with a guest like Jason Grant, I would absolutely expect to see much more than 8 people here. So, once again, YouTube, not only are you taking our money, you're just not sharing our shit. So it's been interesting, and I'm not in a good mood with YouTube. I've been trying to take care of something. Every one of my live feeds now consistently is demonetized. Like, I make no money on my live feeds. So not to complain about that. We are going to talk about a couple things. We'll see if Jason shows up or not. Somebody said here, did Robert donated some gift memberships? Thank you very much, Robert. I appreciate it. Okay, I just got an email from Jason. He said he'd be on at like 12:15. So it's not clickbait. It is absolutely not clickbait. So if you guys didn't watch it, which looking at the views on that video, I would say the likelihood is you probably didn't. Yesterday went up a video where I took this incredibly nice PM2. God damn it. I still can't. We'll talk about what's going on with my hands. I took this incredibly nice PM2 and changed the color on it so it was not so effeminate. I don't know what's up with Spyderco's decision on scale colors for sprint runs, but it's absolutely look at your target market. How many of your target market want either a baby blue or teal scale on their knife? I see it, Bubbles. I see it. You'll get your sweet nothings in a second.
I just had to set it up first. I forgot to turn the soundboard on, but hey, Bubbles, we're gonna have fun on the 22nd because there's a lot of people gonna be there. I blicked the microphone, but it doesn't make a special sound, so here's your sweet nothing. Nothing.
So, you guys know that I have a lot of nerve damage and nerve pain and stuff in my arms. Well, I finally had to break down. My doctor and I were like, we're going to have to deal with this. So I'm going to explain to you, there's going to be some weirdness to the videos. They might not be as consistent until I get used to my new medication. I'm on some medication that is going to address a couple of issues. It works for anxiety, but it also works for nerve pain. And for my petit mal seizures. So it goes across the board and they're like, we'll just put you on this and you're going to hit 3 separate symptoms you have. So, I'm taking, gabapentin, which makes it harder for me to speak. It makes me really dopey. It makes me feel like I'm just like, I can't focus for the first few weeks of getting used to it. But I do see a marked change in the amount of pain. I don't feel like I want to cut my arm off anymore. So it seems to be working, but the problem is it causes tremors and jerky movement. in your hands and makes it difficult to speak. So please just be patient with some of the videos. There's probably going to be some weirdness to some of them, but yeah, Josh, man, your super chat was declined. But I do know that on the 22nd, Swags is going to be there. So Swags is going to come down the day, like 2 days before the event, and she's going to come down here for a day, and she and I are going to film some videos together for her channel and for mine. And we're going to do some sharpening. So I'm going to teach her how to do some sharpening. We're going to talk about rosecraft. We're going to probably do some I'm going to do some different style video. I'm going to set it up. We'll be outside and I'll get it set up so it's more like interview style where you see both of us from 2 different angles. We'll start the cameras at the same time. And it'll go back and forth and I'm going to edit that. That's going to be a long edit process. But she and I are going to film some videos together on that day. And then, so that'd be Thursday. Then she's going to go up and she's going to spend, she's going to go up Thursday and spend Thursday night at my little buddy Nico's house. I'm going up Friday and spend a night and go up there. And then I'm going to drive back probably Sunday after the event. And then my wife has surgery that week. So it's going to be hectic. I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done in advance because I do know that when my wife has her surgery, we're going to have some downtime. Why are there only 8 people here? Can somebody go look and see if someone's live? And just let everybody know to stop by after. I'm not wanting them to leave. Just let them know that they can stop by after the live. And I hope Jason gets here soon so I can ask him a lengthy question so that I can go pee because I have to drink a lot of fluids on this. So yeah, Jason should be here in just a couple minutes. But yeah, I think YouTube is just screwing up notifications again. But I did a video where we changed the scales on this. Gonzo went live sometime. Who's Gonzo? I don't even know. Like you guys, Gonzo's. I have no idea who the fuck Gonzo is. So when you guys said that, I have no idea. I have no idea who Gonzo is. So when you guys say that, keep in mind, I don't know fuck all about any other channels except for some big ones like Jared and Pete and Lefty, the guys that I do know. So I need to know more than just Gonzo. But you can go in there live and just tell them that I'm live and I've got Jason Grant as a guest. So I still don't know who Fear and Loathing is. Like I said, I don't know all these channels. No clue. Gonzo was in Fear and Loathing. No, that was Dr. Gonzo. No, that doesn't help me because that's not true. So yeah, if you could just let him know that I've got Jason Grant and he'll only be here for an hour. So I ordered from OCD for EDC. I ordered one of the CMEs, the compression made easy for this. I ordered a blue one. So we're going to put that in. That'll be a video and I'll show you how much better. I love this compression lock, but I don't like how you have to depress it. They could have done something so much better. You'll hear, I got a video out that I'm putting up about this. I do know Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I hope Jason gets here quick. I got to pee. So it is not the best movie ever. It's not. Best movie ever was Real Genius with Val Kilmer. So, but yeah. Oh, since we're waiting on Jason, it only makes sense that I do this. I have got an announcement for you guys from, hopefully we don't have any audio issues with Jason's stuff. Let's share a screen. Window. Have to tell you that Coffee Brand Coffee has now released a new flavor or two. Oh, Jesus Christ. What is going on here? I don't know why stuff doesn't work. Allow me to let me go back here. Allow me to try that again. Let's try that again. Present a screen, share a screen, window. Guys, I don't know what's going on here. Well, let me just show you real quick. Let me do this. Coffee Brand Coffee just released a new flavor. Let me see if I can just bring this one. When I minimize my screen, do I go black? Does the whole thing go dark? Just out of curiosity. So share screen, window, share. They have a new flavor called Orange Creamsicle. And I'm kind of excited for a lot of people to try this because I don't like orange creamsicles. So I'm not sure that that's the flavor for me, but I do have to say that it is intriguing to me. Uh-oh. It is intriguing to me. Why doesn't that work? I don't know why that's not working. At any rate, the pecan is better than the churro good. What place are you in? I am in second place. I'm in second place. So if you guys don't know, there's an internal contest that they have for all of the sponsored channels. And whoever sells the most per month gets a monetary award. And they have multiple. I just won a 5-pound bag of their roaster's choice. Which is an expensive bag of coffee that they're going to be sending me. So I just won that because we had more sales over weekend. So if you are interested in trying the Coffee Brand Coffee, the sponsored, my channel sponsor, you can just go to coffeebrandcoffee.com and use the coupon code you see scrolling across the bottom. So I've never been like a creamsicle guy. That will last me, what, a week and a half? I do drink a lot of coffee. That is not an exaggeration. I've had 3 big cups of coffee and a NOS today. I want you to put it in perspective. It is noon here. Now, I do get up really early. So if you're just joining, Jason will be here shortly. He's on his way. He got held up with something. So when he gets here, I'm going to give him, I have to change something. Back here. There we go. Now hang on. I got to check something. And I'm back. I just want to make sure the background was what I wanted. So, I might have enough time. Jesus, I hope he shows up. I gotta pee. I've drank probably a half a gallon of water a day. That medicine just makes me, one, I have to drink a lot of water when I'm on this medication. But it gives me dry mouth. And I have twitchy hands. You'll notice if you watch the video about me changing the color of this when I dyed the scales on this. If you watch that video, you can see clearly that I was having a very hard time getting that knife apart and back together. And on top of the nerve damage that I have in my arm, the medication that they're taking. And like I said, guys, just showing up, Jason will be here shortly. I don't know who is one of you guys DM me a link to Gonzo's channel, because I have no idea who Gonzo is. And I don't know why everybody decides to go live at the exact same fucking time. So if one of you guys wants to DM me the channel so I can see it, and maybe I can talk to, because I want to get it set up. Like I don't want to step on people's channel either, and I don't really like expecting, I don't like the disappointment of expecting when I have a really good guest. That I'm expecting a better showing. I just wanted the channel. Why is that like that? Fuck. Today is his first live ever, I think. Okay. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. That's cool. I mean, I'm all about, like, I would like to work around people's schedules, but like I want to get it set. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a set, I want it to be set so you guys always know what time to expect it. If I need to work around other people's schedules, at this point, I'm not changing my Saturday. And I would say I would like him to like, I would be like, hey, it would be better because he's got like 700 subscribers. It's his first live. It might be better if he like sketch, because I'm not changing this Saturday. I'm going to continue to do this, and I don't want to, like, I don't want to drain from his subscribers, and I don't want to lose people showing up to mine either. It's beneficial for everyone, but I can't change my Saturday anymore. I'm not changing my life schedule anymore. So that's just the way it is. I'm not changing anything I do anymore. Might part with something Mike made. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So, hey, Robert, I was going to tell you, I don't think that I'm going to be able to get that stuff to you. I hate to say that. I had that big giveaway that I did for my 10,000 subscribers. Or was it the 100 paying members? I don't remember which it was. And Robert won a big box of stuff. And I just talked with Kevin Cleary. He did a video and he was saying, oh, people are tightening pivots, or people are sending it in a box that's all separate. But I also contacted the Canadian border security stuff. And they're basically saying that if you send a folding knife and it's apart, they're automatically so here's the quandary. Like, I'm waiting for Kevin Cleary to come out and say if what he said worked. Because when I talked to customs, the Canadian customs guys, they said if you've got a box and it's marked knife, which you have to declare it because they're going to x-ray it. If it's marked knife and knife parts and it's parts of a folding knife, they are automatically going to assume that folding knife will fail their little, like, if you can open it partially. If you guys didn't see Kevin Cleary's video, they're saying if they can open it partially and then snap it open, it's going to get confiscated. And so they're saying they will not, that basically no folding knives are going to make it across the border. And he said he was going to do like disassembly. And so I asked, I asked them yesterday. I saw his video went up. His video went up and somebody else had a video about it as well. Another Canadian knife channel. And I was like, okay, I contacted them. There's a phone number. You can look it up. And I contacted them and they said, if you send knives that are disassembled, they automatically are going to assume that that's what you're doing and they're going to confiscate them. So I have a whole box of knives that was supposed to go to Robert, and now there's no way I can send them to him. And so now there will be no way I'm sending any giveaways to Canada. So I got it. Here's the thing. Like I said, I do know that I get some super chats and stuff, but when I do a giveaway, I'm eating the cost of that shipping. And if I'm sending stuff to Canada, I'm already paying more in shipping, and there's like 6 knives in that box. If I was to disassemble all those knives and send them, I would have 12 different boxes. And there's a good chance they still would confiscate stuff because they're like, oh, you know what? So I will do a redraw. It's like I want to say that's like $600 box of stuff that was supposed to go to Robert. So I don't know. Yeah. And here's the thing. It costs a ton to get stuff. I'm waiting on Jason still. I might have to go to the bathroom without him being here. See if he says anything. Yeah, so what we'll do is I'm going to do that either as individual giveaways or one great big giveaway on a Saturday. I might do a Saturday where I'm like, I got $600 worth of knives. One of them is a very, very rare. Here's the thing. So I asked about, like, I was talking about with them. I was like, so if I send it, they're like, look, if you send parts, and if you send parts, there's a good chance they're going to get confiscated. If you send parts, even if it's like disassembled. So, like, if I'm sending a handle for a knife and they X-ray it and they see that, they're going to assume that the other part is coming. I don't know. I just like that was what that's what the lady I talked to said. She was like, there's a good chance that nothing is going to make it through. And I'm like, I just don't want to take that risk with $600 worth of stuff. And then you figure $600 worth of stuff, that's 12 boxes. You figure it's like $35 a box to get shit to Canada, I think. I am not doing it during the next movie night. I want it to be open to everyone. It's going to be a big, you'll see it. It'll be like, it's probably just going to be one box to one person, be $600. It's already boxed up. That's the reason. It's already in the box. So come on, Jason. I got to take a leak. He said 12:15, and it's now 12:24. If he can't make, he said he only had an hour anyway, so I may just end this. Like this, if he doesn't show up soon, I'm just probably gonna end it and say, hey, we'll have to do it. Here's the thing: I can't get upset because I had a guest scheduled, and they were like, it was really tentative. They're like, if this happens, I can't come, and I was like, okay. And so I got word yesterday. I got word literally yesterday. And it was that like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. There's no way possible. And it wasn't Zach and Wild. I've been talking with Zach. But I contacted Jason. He was great enough to say, yeah, I can come on for probably about an hour. So our time might be limited, if at all. So if he doesn't show up within about the next 15 or 20 minutes, I will just end the feed. And then I'll just take it down. We just won't even see it. So I don't think it's fair to put up something. And I was kind of frustrated. I was kind of frustrated because the person and I'm not going to tell you who it is. Person I talked to, we talked about doing a live feed for a very long time. And it was always scheduling issues. And then I got a tentative maybe. And then it was it was all shut down. Todd says, Canada shipping, send 2 boxes for the blades, 1 for handle, 100% get through. You say that, but the person that I talked to said, if you're sending parts, they're going to assume that's what you're doing. Specifically told me. Like they said, if you send them in the same box, they're going to assume that knife is going to fail. Or because now I guess now they're opening every box and testing shit. So, yeah, but that was until like 2 days ago when they he reached out to them as well. Like they're opening boxes now. So guys, I can't wait any longer. I gotta go. I gotta go to the restroom. Tell everybody to stand by. Just like I'll even do this. I'm back. I just couldn't wait anymore. Hey, on top of all that caffeine that I've had, the coffee and I'm rolling across an extension cord, I believe. I had to take a leak, something fierce. Are you having technical issues? Asking him. It's 12:30. All right. Yeah, I couldn't wait anymore. I can only be here for a little bit. I need to take my dogs for I'm hoping the wife gets home soon. I gotta take the dog out too. I said I had to take a leak. I didn't say anything about pooping. Yeah, there's a good chance. We'll just relabel this podcast and put a new thumbnail up, or just take it down all the way. I have to say, you're going to see a couple videos about this knife because I absolutely have fallen. I've never had a PM2 long enough. Never had a knife, never owned the knife long enough, or I had one here long enough to do anything more than sharpening. And I've had customers like, people just are like, yeah, I don't want you to do anything with it. Like with their PM2s, they're like, I don't want it scuffed. I'm like, oh, I can't test it. Like if I had somebody that was a beater, but something about Spyderco guys are like, no, I want it to be pristine. Like Zorro, who there's absolutely nothing fundamentally wrong with that finish. And as I've used it now, that finish is just about consistent from wear. So, there's a lot of like Spyderco guys that just are they just want their knives to be pristine. And I'm like, okay. So I wasn't able to use one. Now that I've gotten this one, and Zoroaster 305 gave me this knife because I just couldn't fix the finish on it. If I'd been able to fix the finish, I'd have sent it back to him, even though he said I could have it. But I was unable to. And so now that I've used it, this is an amazing knife, and I see why people love the PM2 so much. But okay, so what is this? Somebody was like, the way they are testing the knife is that they partially open, then flick the wrist with the first option, tighten the pivot so they can't do that. All of the nice knives that are in that box that I would send to Robert have shouldered pivots and shouldered hardware and bearings, and there is no way to tighten that down to the point that it won't work. It's going to fail every time. The knives that are in there, the nice ones, there's no way. That's like, this is cranked down. I've got this pivot cranked down as tight as it will go. I do. I have it. I have everything cranked down, tight, cinched down. To make this any tighter, I would have to take the stop pin out to crank down on it harder. There's just no way. So not an option. Like, they have made it impossible to send a knife. They've made it impossible to send a knife to Canada. Bro, I've got a grandkid. What you're laughing about? I don't know. It's just like, what's that? I got one. Actually, two now. You did destroy it. That's what I'm saying. You did destroy it yourself. Like, what? I don't see the issue. You had destroyed it yourself. So it looks like Jason is having technical difficulties. I'm going to tell him we'll reschedule it. I will just... Oh, he says he may have it fixed. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. So, or ship it by FedEx, brokerage company, clears customs differently than UPS. Yeah, it's much more expensive. I'm just saying, I can't, any of the options that are available for me to get a knife to Canada, I can't. Guys, this channel's the only money I make. And if I give up the money that I make to do the giveaways, then it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? If I give up all the money I would make for like a week on the channel to do one round of shipping, it's a losing prospect. You see what I'm saying? It's diminishing returns. So I get it. He already said to redraw it. We don't have to talk about it anymore, but I'm just saying, like, there will be no more giveaway offers. It's the same reason, like, looking at the cost of shipping, same reason you can't get Coffee Brand coffee in Canada. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There is just, for me, it's no option. So so I do have to say, I've had problems with some of Spyderco's heat treats on a couple things. It's been limited things. And a lot of times it was first runs that they had done in a steel, like they hadn't nailed down their heat treat process. Um, this S90V on this is really good. I've sharpened it now. Um, I've sharpened it now, and I've got it at 1,000 grit, 1,100 grit on a diamond matrix stones. It is really, really good. Really good. Nice, Josh. Nice. Nice potty mouth, Josh. You guys want to joke? We're waiting. He's trying to get it. He's trying to log in. So, guy walks into a bar and he's sitting there, and the bartender sees him. He starts talking into his pinky and his thumb, and he's the bartender's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I do so much work." He's like, "I don't want to have to carry a bunch of stuff. I basically turned. I can take my office anywhere." He's like, "I had a receiver, like a microphone, implanted in my thumb, and a microphone implanted in my pinky finger, and I can just talk like this." And the bartender thinks he's nuts. He's like, "What the fuck? Okay, whatever." And so a minute later, he sees the guy doing this. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I got to send an email in response to the phone call I just got." And he's doing this on his arm. He said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, I've got a monitor implant in my eye. I can see what I'm doing, and I have a keyboard implanted under my forearm." He's like, "This is nuts. This is nuts." And so the bartender gets up and he's like, "Where did that guy go?" So he goes to the bathroom to wash his hands because, he went outside to smoke, and he's washing his hands. He gets ready to go wash his hands. Open up the bathroom door. There's this businessman standing in the bathroom with a roll of toilet paper shoved up his ass. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Close the door. I'm getting a fax." There you go. There you go. So hopefully Jason's got this figured out. Like I said, if not, we'll do it some other time. How's the stitch treating me? I like the stitch. I have not resharpened it yet. I think it will be a lot better after I resharpen it, but I'm not gonna lie. The factory edge on it was pretty good. It really, really was. Um, I don't I don't think it's I don't know about the heat treat. Everybody was saying that they had problems with the cold steel, or not the cold steel, but the Microtech heat treat. I had no problems. I've never had a problem with a cold steel heat treat. People were complaining about, or not, God, cold steel, Microtech heat treat. So people were complaining back in the day about their LMAX, and I do have to admit that DOC that I had that I sold to Will, it did come with a factory edge that did not hold. And I sharpened it once, and it still didn't hold. And I was like, maybe there is something to this LMAX being garbage. And after I sharpened it again, after that second sharpening that I did, it was fine. It was great. You can ask Will. That thing is nightmare sharp. And it's that I have not sharpened that knife for a while, and it still got used. So, um, my neighbors are leaving. My dog has been. I hope he's okay because he would not take a dump before we he would not take a dump before we started this, and my wife and kid will not be back for a little bit. They'll probably be back here in just a few minutes. So we're running out of daylight, Jason. Run out of daylight, Jason. Hurry up. Do you want to just try and do it on a different Saturday, and I'll just relabel the live feed, or just take it down entirely so it doesn't look like clickbait? That thing is so sharp, it wants to take my finger off Yeah, it is very, very sharp. The edge that takes, that I have to say, Cold Steel's LMAX was some of the best. The only other LMAX that I've had that is that good is this. And this is Elliot's custom heat treat on this Pretium. This is nuts. This is so good. This was Elliot's first in-house like production style knife. Hey, Jason is here.
Hey.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. Hey, better late than pregnant.
I can't get too upset because, like I said, I told everybody already that I had a guest that was tentative. I've been trying to get him on the channel for a long time. Not going to call him out. Been trying to get him on the channel forever, and they gave me a tentative. Yeah, we can do it Saturday, maybe. And then they bounced out. What did I get a hold of you at? Thursday afternoon or yesterday?
Yeah, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I had an appointment and he drove out from 29 Palms, a Marine guy. So, you know.
God damn, he lives up in Hills Have Eyes? God.
Yeah, pretty much.
I hate 29 Palms. So if you don't know, Jason is actually only about an hour and a half from me. I'm down here in San Diego. You're up in what? Dana Point area?
Yeah, Dana Point. You know, right next to San Clemente or whatever.
Yeah, it's like maybe Dana Point is like we used to get when we would go to the amusement park up there. Knott's Berry Farm. Sometimes we meet our friends at around the corner at a restaurant up at Dana Point.
Oh, cool. Which one?
Is that Dana Point or is it? Huh?
What's the restaurant called?
I can't remember. It was like a little bar and grill that was kind of off the beaten path that my buddy knew.
Hennessy's, maybe. There's a
Like
Hennessy's and a place called the Harbor House, which is like open 24 hours type place, you know.
That was probably it because it was always late. You know, you'd leave Knott's Berry Farm kind of late.
Sure.
And then go. That might be it, but it was a good place. And then once I found out about the chicken place there at Knott's Berry Farms, I was never hungry when I left Knott's Berry Farm. I was like, no, I already had.
Oh, I love the chicken spot rocks. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, right there. It's just like as you walk in on the little shopping area as you're walking to the entrance from the parking lot. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I used to go with my grandma.
So, real quick, because I know you don't have a lot of time, right?
I'm not in that big of a rush. Look, my wife just went to her sister's overnight, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, you lucky man.
I know. With my daughter.
Mine goes to Japan with my daughter just about every. They used to go in the spring or summer, and now they go in the Christmas break period. Oh,
Nice.
It sucks, but I'm not gonna lie. To have the house all to myself, it's pretty cool. And you remember, they were gone that one time, and I sent you pictures of me and the dog.
Oh yeah.
We had to put that dog to sleep, but me and that dog would get into the jazz cabbage, and
Nice.
she'd get all dopey and just sit there and grin at you.
That's
So-
cool.
So tell me, since you're here now, why don't you, in case anybody doesn't know, there's only 22 people here. I was expecting more, but tell them about Brass Brigade knives, and I'll give you full screen so you can do it here.
Well, so it started, I'm a tattoo artist, and then I got into competitive shooting about 5.5 years ago. And, I started getting more into the shooting stuff and, modding my guns and all that type of stuff. And then, and then I started getting more into the knives also. And,
but you got it. Be careful. You can't show a gun in a live feed. They'll take it down.
That's a water pistol.
Okay.
Anyways.
It doesn't matter.
better?
If they think it is, they'll just like, nope, sorry, live feed's down.
God
We
damn it.
will still be able to see each other, but then I'll start getting comments like, hey, it's down.
Oh, got it. Okay. So yeah, that never happened. Anyways.
Yeah.
The shooting stuff, whatever. And then my wife's like, and I wanted to like put some video on Instagram. She's like, the Brass Brigade, right?
Yeah.
Became my shooting Instagram. And then I designed a knife with SG Knives, the gripper, this one.
Yeah.
And it started here, let me get it real quick.
And by the way, I love the gripper.
Thank
I
you.
love the idea of the gripper, but the problem is it's just like it doesn't fit my hand the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, you probably would
And
want a 3-inch like this guy.
yeah, I need a big. We've talked about. I've got great big mitts.
Oh, then yeah, you probably would want a bigger one.
Yeah,
But anyway, it started as I just wanted to get a knife made for me, and
yeah,
sent him some pictures of the gripper or whatever. And then a couple months went by, and I finally got it and posted some pictures of it. People seemed to like it, and then that's when I like reached out to some other like knife guys in the community, and they gave me the BezTech link or whatever, like the people I
yeah,
needed to talk to over there. And then 6-7 months later, the gripper came out,
yeah.
and then just sort of sprouted from there. And then I don't know, about not even a year ago, I decided to take the money I made from the gripper, and I bought like a grinder, a heat treat oven, like all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, and taught myself how to make fixed blades, with the intention of obviously making folders in the future. But you got to gotta walk before you can run.
Yeah, everybody's like, why don't you make a folding knife? And I'm like, one, I got enough nerve damage. I can't stand in front of a grinder all day anymore.
Yeah,
And two,
it's a lot.
I think
Yeah.
I think that the additional I love making fixed blades. I love making knives and I love grinding knives, but I like them because they're straightforward. I
Right.
I liked the straightforwardness of just taking that piece of metal and turning it into something else. Taking all the things that I would have to do, to figure out the clearance and where my detent would go and the lock radius. I think all those things would take the fun out of it for me.
Yeah, I sat with a guy. His name's Danny. He goes by the Atomic Punk on Instagram. He's like
Yeah.
a knife maker guy. He makes some amazing knives, by the way. I actually sat with him at his shop for one day for about 7 hours, and helped him build a folder. And he was just just showing me, like, introducing me into the folder world. And it's crazy how much goes into making one knife, like one folding knife.
Oh, and then when you look at like people are like, oh well, how could it be that much more expensive to make a folding knife than a fixed blade? I bought hardware one time. I bought hardware just to mount handles to fixed blades.
right.
And it's insanely expensive. Like I went through what's his name?
Tie
Jesus
connector.
Christ. No. It's he used to make all the screws for Chris and Elliot Williamson. He's a USA knife maker as well.
Oh, okay.
Knife kits. He did
Knife
a bunch of
kits.
stuff for knife kits. So he buys screws and hardware from knife kits. But I went through him and still just to get the double, 2 titanium screws and then the pivot that I used as my, my shoulder in between the scales to screw them together. Still, it was like $400 just for screws and pivots. I'm like, that is insane.
Just this simple kit right here. This is a basic, folding knife kit from Tie Connector. Just this kit is like $100.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like people are like, oh, so you can make a folding knife. It's $100. It's like just right there. The knife has to start at more than $100.
Yeah, and then what about like your granite surface block? That's a $300 piece of granite that you absolutely have to have for a folding knife to make sure everything's true and flat.
Yeah.
That's $300 just for a thing to make sure your knife is flat.
Yeah, that's not even a tool that you're using to make the knife. That's a gauge. That's like, I just lay it on there and you look and see if it's flat. And I mean, some people do. I've seen Elliot Williamson mount sandpaper to his, like put sandpaper on it and then push it down really flat, like wet it so that you can lay it down, like suction it on, and then tape it all across so you don't get any abrasive on it, just like basically cover everything that's not sandpaper and then make it true on that. But yeah, I mean, you use it like a lapping plate. Other than that, man, it's insane the things that you have to make a fold.
What about the grinder? Like there's another freaking, depending on who you go with. I mean, the Broadbeck, the one I have is $3,600.
Yeah. The one that I would recommend anybody that's doing it is the Travis Wirtz, the TW90. It comes with it comes pre-wired and everything, and it comes with basically he puts everything you would need, including a flat platen. You got a flat platen, you got a half-inch contact wheel, you got a quarter-inch contact wheel, or you got a 1-inch and a half-inch, you get a 10-inch and an 8-inch contact wheel, and it's just already pre-wired, but it's like $3,700.
Dude, so I just got a grinder from a guy. His name's Rich. He goes by Taurus CNC on Instagram.
I've seen his stuff on Instagram.
Dude, his grinder was half the price of my Broadbeck, and it's literally twice as good. And it comes with flat platen, a 12-inch contact wheel that's fully calibrated and balanced. It's sick. I told him if I would have saw your grinders, there would have been no question. I would have immediately just bought his pre-wired, ready to go. Literally just take it out of the box, screw it to your workbench, and it's go time. I didn't even have to bolt the motor on. The motor was already on.
No, that's like because I was asking, I was talking with Travis Wirtz at a show, and when you're in the knife community for a while, it's really cool when like there's guys that are like knife royalty, like Travis Wirtz won. What did he win? Forged in Fire, twice?
Oh, that's cool.
And so Travis knows me, and I'm friends with Bob Terzuola and Anthony Marfione and all this. I see him at shows, and and people are like, how do you know these guys? I was like, bro, like you go to like 6 shows and you really do a lot of talking with them and interviews. You make friends with them, and then everybody knows. But so like I was talking with Travis at a show, and he was talking about it. He goes, yeah, it's a stupid that how much people pay for parts that then have to wire the grinder themselves. And a lot of times it's like, I made the grinder. Well, he's like, guess what? I make grinders now. And he's like, I have people that assemble them. I was like, he was telling me his comes basically built. Like you pull it out of the box, plug it in, you mount it to your bench, and you just put a belt on it and start fucking grinding.
Yeah,
and I was
that's how this guy's was. I was so impressed, dude. It's sick. I posted some pictures on my Instagram of it, but
yeah,
until you see like Taurus CNC's grinders next to like another company's grinders, you can't appreciate the quality of this guy's grinders until you see it side by side with a grinder that's $3,600 and his is half the price.
Yeah. Well, and Travis makes, so he basically makes, I think he has people that work for him now that does it, but like he makes the contact wheels and stuff, and he sends replacements and things like that. The only problem with it is like some of their stuff, like if you reach out like, hey, I blew the bearings in my 1/2-inch contact wheel, and they're like, oh, it's gonna be like $60. If you look at it real close, they're ceramic skateboard bearings.
Yeah.
And so you can get off the shelf stuff. So, Nathan Dahl was talking about, I used sapphire blue RIT More dye to do this, and it didn't come out perfect, but it's definitely better than that baby blue teal that was on it before. I was telling him before you showed up, this knife was given to me, and it was a sprint run from Spyderco, and it came with these teal scales, but it's in a steel that I love. And the guy that gave it to me was like, I screwed the finish up on the blade and told me I could have it. I was going to send it to him if I could fix it, and I wasn't able to. And but I was like, what is it with Spyderco sprint runs? They'll do it in a steel that everybody loves, and then just do it in the most off-putting color possible. Like that is the ugliest color handles I had ever seen, and they just got so dirty so quick. So
yeah, I got a paramilitary too that I picked. This one's pretty cool. If you like lime green.
This was my PM2 in this is my PM2 in S90B, but now it's got much better colored handles. What steel is that one in? Was that a sprint run?
This is 20 CV. I forget
20 CV, and I think there was a I forget what color the S110 was. I think it was black. No, it wasn't. It was a different color.
I got this one. What's this one called? A Mannix?
I don't know. I don't like most of the Spyderco models, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
I guarantee that the folks in the chat can. What knife
has
is that,
a
guys?
Crew wear. I think it's a Mannix. I like
I think
it.
it might be.
Fits my hand good.
Yeah.
I just didn't have any Spydercos, so in fact, these are the only two I own.
Uh-oh, you froze. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I have. I like to say that I don't like Spyderco. It's a Mannix 2 or a Mannix XL. A couple of people are saying.
Oh, okay, cool.
Depending on the size of your hands. Yeah, that's what it was. It was purple. S110 was purple, and I'm like, oh, I don't want that. So, but like, I've never been a super big Spyderco fan. They have a couple models that I really like. Like they have the police model, which is part of the Endura series. Basically, it's like an enlarged and the Delica. They all fall in that Endura family. So the Endura family of knives is one that I like. And then I liked the military, and I've always liked the paramilitary 2, PM2. But I never had one here long enough that I could do an actual review of it. So now that I have this one's getting a lot of use. And I understand why people like the PM2 so much.
Oh, I also have that one stovepipe. I have that thing. It's pretty weird looking.
You paid $400 for that?
Yeah.
Fuck. That's my big problem with Spyderco and Benchmade is their pricing structure. I'm like, guys, your knives are not that good to be charging that much. Are they good knives? Yes. Are they $300 knives? No, not when I can get a knife that is way nicer for $300. It's got way more bells and whistles.
Yeah, I just like the looks of it. I like weird shit. But you know what? So I'm going to tell you something. So see this knife, right? This stovepipe?
Yeah.
I bought one of this guy's customs from him. What's his name again? Oh, fuck.
Don't remember.
Oh, it goes by the Kingdom.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was $1,600, right?
Yeah.
It's the only full custom knife I've bought from a maker that the day I got it, I literally immediately messaged him. And I think I fucking made up some random excuse why I couldn't keep it. It's the only knife I ever sent back for a refund. Was
it pretty bad?
It was so bad, dude. Like, as much as this is $400, after having a custom from the guy that was $1,600,
yeah,
this thing blows it away in every way. I mean, it wasn't centered. It looked really cool. That's why I bought it. But so much, dude. I'm like, how does he charge that much money for these folders? But whatever.
Hey, bud, hang on a second, puppy. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. They'll come in. No, you can't run out there. You don't have we have that brand new puppy, and he's so yeah, a lot of people. You know what? I've had that happen. Emerson's. I like Ernie, and I like the idea of some of Ernie's knives, but it is really sad that Ernie's in-house made stuff, his company made stuff, and his customs are not as good as companies that are doing production versions. Like, you can get like a $50 Emerson Kershaw that is better than any of his stuff that comes out from his in-house.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's just sad. So it's just sad. And I hate to say it, we've reached a point where there's a lot of custom knives out there that are not as good as production knives. It's reached a point where, like,
oh yeah,
custom for so long, production knives were so bad that everybody's like, well, you just got to get a custom. That's the only way you're going to get a good knife. And then some makers started doing mid-tech stuff, and that was amazing. Like, that's kind of how Chris and Elliot over at Fair and Forge Knife Works here in San Diego did it for a long time. They would get their stuff in, they'd get a plate of titanium, they'd get it blown out, they'd send it over to the milling shop, which was here in San Diego. They'd get their blade blanks blown out and then sent to I forget who did their double disc grind on that. They would order parts from their machining company. And then, so it was blown out. They would do water jet here in San Diego and then send the blades off to get double disc at Larkin to get double disc ground, and then heat treated there. And then they would get their titanium parts blown out they just get a sheet sent to the water jet here in San Diego, and then send those blanks straight from there up to SDPM, which is San Diego Precision Machining. And they were putting out knives that were well better than any of the production knives, and definitely better than custom. But now they said the same thing. They're like, it's reached a point where just getting OEM done by some of these really good companies is actually going to be better than anything we could do on our own, and it's much more cost efficient.
Yeah.
She does this every time. Like, she walks in and does not close the garage door back up. I'm like, now I got the sun shining on. I can't see the screen. Hang on.
Oh,
I'm coming right back. I guess that's what happens when you turn your garage into a YouTube studio. But
yeah, I'm in my garage right now.
Yeah, my garage is my YouTube studio and workshop. So nice. I don't do. I'm gonna make a custom knife. I don't own a single one of my custom fixed blades, and I have a blank that is sitting in a box. And I'm like, as soon as I drill out this, I want to get some small mosaic pins that will fit it, and I want to do this wood handle that's going to come out, and I'm going to polish it and then lacquer it and everything.
Nice.
And I'm going to do a hologram. I'm going to do the custom knife that I want, and it's going to be the first one of my knives that I made that I own, because as a custom knife maker, you know this, you can't keep anything you make. It has to sell.
Well, I've done that a few times. I make one and I'm like, okay, this one's going to be for me. And then, nobody wants it. And then when you're about to actually use it, you see the message that's like, hey, do you still have that, whatever.
For me, it was always that I would make it and I'd get done. And then I would this one's going to be mine. I did make one for myself one time. It was just exactly the way it was, my maker's choice. And it came out and I got done. And then I looked at my bank statement. I was like, I paid how much for the shit that went into this knife? I have to sell this. Like, I can't keep this. Like, even though I made this for me, I have got to sell this.
Well, yeah, I understand that too.
So Jason's Instagram is Brass Brigade. Like, you just go type in Brass Brigade on Instagram. That's it, right? It's all one word. Yeah. Brass Brigade, one word. Yeah.
Yeah.
All one word. So
check this one out. This is the Atomic Punk guy I told you about.
Hang on a second. I'll get it full screen. Oh, that's cool. I'm not a fan of Tonto's, but that's pretty well done. Is that a chisel? Like, it's only ground on one side? Yeah. That's going to be stupid sharp.
Yeah, this is the guy I sat in for, and he went through the whole process of making one of these knives. I think this is his Fury model.
That's nice looking. Where's he? Is he here is he here in the area?
So he's up by Magic Mountain. I drove up all the way. I left at 5 in the morning and got to his house at 7:38 and sat with him all day.
So that'd be like a 4-hour drive for me.
Yeah, it was.
I might have to get, because I want to film. We've talked about it. I want to come up and film with you and stuff like that, like film an actual video with you, like your process and doing stuff and making a knife. And then also, if I got in touch with him, that's because I could do an overnight, just sleep in the car and do an overnight, go up there, then come back, go up, see you, then drive up, see him. And then on my way back, stop by Cerberus Knives in Anaheim. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
So
do a little road trip.
Yeah. And I've been meaning to do it, but with the shooting schedule, doing 7 videos a week.
That's crazy.
It's insane. It's nuts. So do you have a new run? I know that you're fulfilling orders. I saw your post about that and I shared it. Do you have a pre-order coming up anytime soon?
So the next pre-order will be for the Gripper V2, which is this thing with the ugly flipper tab.
Well, but I mean, if you're gonna, at least it's got a big enough flipper tab that I can do the reverse flick on it.
Well, there's
the top flip on it. I mean,
it's not just a flipper tab though. That's what people don't understand because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I like it. I just wish the flipper tab wasn't so tall," and that would defeat the purpose of why it's there in the first place. It has nothing to do with opening the knife.
It becomes part of it. Just fills in that whole space in the back.
Absolutely.
That's
what
nice.
It does. So you have your internal stop pin. See it?
Yeah.
So
kind of.
See this groove?
Not really. It's out of focus.
Oh shit.
It looks like me looking at my phone without my reading glasses. I'm like, I don't see a fucking thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
Yeah, there you go. It's kind of out of. It's kind of.
My eyes are not the best, dude. Anyways, so in here there's an internal pin, right, where that little guy rests on that little notch. But the back of this blade is cut at kind of a 45, so when it opens, not only does that notch rest on that internal stop pin, the back actually sits on the back spacer, which is held in by 3 steel standoffs. So it's like 2 lockups, if that makes sense. Like 2 stop pins.
So you very, very low chance that you're going to wind up with blade play or lock rock, as it would
Correct. So like, you know, like when you have that internal stop pin, if you open and close that knife 5,000 times, I don't know if you've ever had them. I've only had them a couple times, but where that starts getting microscopically loose, like a little bit of play. It's not much.
Yeah, you get some deformation. Yeah, you get deformation on it.
From that steel banging against the, you know, the titanium.
Oh, I've had I've had a ton of knives that wind up with like the Maraca syndrome where you're.
So you know.
Yeah, and then you got to either you buy a new one if it's a cheap knife, or you get a hold of the maker and you send it to them and they take material off the lock face and off the lock up and put an oversized stop pin in, but that lifts your tail up. That's the nice thing about like a double stop pin configuration is
that's
you've got one that controls the closed position. Yeah, you got one that controls the closed position, one that controls the open position. You just throw an oversized one in and bang, you're done.
Yeah, the little round one, that is what stops it. And then the round one, and then the whole back spacer is part of the one that stops it when you open it.
Nice. Yeah. So it's basically it's double stop pin. So if you do develop, if it does deform and you develop a little bit of play, you could always just have them measure their stop pin and you could send them one that's just a tiny bit larger.
Yeah, but that's if the 3 steel standoffs that go through this entire back spacer, you'd have to fail all 3 of those because this rests on the back spacer also.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's why it sticks up so far, because the back spacer is the stop.
Gotcha.
Yes. So it's like super solid. You can hear it when you open it. It's not through my phone, maybe.
Might have to send me a prototype of that so I can put it on the channel so I can actually. We talked about that so long ago and we just keep forgetting. Like I'm like, yeah, I forgot to talk to you about it. You're like, yeah, I forgot about it.
Yeah, I can send you one of these.
I'll say, yeah, it'd be local. You could just that way you don't even have to spend like priority. Priority mail is expensive now. I've mailed some shit off for a giveaway.
Oh, I know.
And they were like, yeah, it's gonna be like I was like, they raised the price on it. I was like, nah, never mind. I'm gonna go home and put this in a different box. I'm sending it as cheap as possible.
Yeah, dude, I'm so bad. So like with the Tripper, this is the knife that I just came out.
Yeah.
I just ship them. What is it? First class or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
first
class. It's like $5, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And people are like, yeah, they don't have any insurance. I'm like, I have news for you. If you've ever tried to use the USPS insurance, it's not going to fucking work.
It's not like you're going to get your knife back. No,
exactly. It's not like you can get your knife back. Or the only one that does work, I do know, is pirate ship, but I don't have. I'm not adding any more expense to my operation here at the house. Everybody's like, oh, you should get pirate ship, and I was like, then I have to have a label printer. I have to have a label. I have to have a printer. Right now, my laptop is out here in my studio. I don't have another computer anywhere, and I don't have a printer.
Pirate ship is only if you're like, I mean, if you're just selling things here and there, it's not really worth it. Now, if you're doing 200 or 300 knives, then it might be worth it. But I will say that the shipping cost is cheaper if you use pirate ship. Like these ones that cost $550 to ship, $570 somewhere in there. Dude, it's significant. Like it costs $320.
God damn.
Yeah, but you got to factor in, like you said, the price of the label printer. So for me, it wouldn't really. I feel like it's even Steven for me because I'm not big enough. You know what I'm saying? Like I only sell like my gripper. I only had 250 grippers made of these.
Yeah.
So. I only
It's-
had 200 of these, so.
And that's like, okay, so people get all bent out of shape. They're like, oh, like there are some companies they're perfectly fine with them doing OEM. Like there's some companies that are like that they know that those knives are not touched by the people that are selling those knives. They're just designed and done. And some people are perfectly fine with that. And then there's some companies where people are like, well, that's a Chinese company. I was like, no, it's an American company. It's like they will shit on smaller companies that are based here and have like Asher knives or Artisan Cutlery
Right.
or Beyond EDC that are having their knives made offshore, right?
Right, like this.
They'll shit on them, but guys like you or Jim Skelton or Brian Nadeau, they're fine. Or Eric Oakes, they're doing the same and they're fine with it. And they're like, no, that's not a problem. I was like, so you're going to say that like this company is a Chinese company because they have their stuff made offshore, but you have a designer that you like that has their stuff made offshore. Is that now a Chinese company? Like you gotta tell me where we do that division, where we draw that line.
What's funny are most of the people that are all USA made only knife guys, right? Are putting their little weird comments on Instagram on a phone that was made in China. Like
you obviously must follow. You must obviously follow some of the things that I scream about in videos.
Like, no, it's kind of retarded. Like, if you're gonna talk about it, be about it. Then don't have a phone that's made in China. Don't drive a Kia. Don't use a microwave.
Good luck buying anything.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You can't just.
Jason Browse. So Jason Browse, and this is, I talk about this all the time. I actually am going to shoot a video about the whole Jake Hoback thing and why, not just the thing that he did that pissed me off. Like Jake Hoback is a hypocrite at best. And so Jason Browse, you know Jason Browse, right? Browse Knives.
I've heard of him. I definitely have heard of him.
Jason Browse, I've known Jason for a long time. He's a great guy. And it was pretty much he was not breaking any laws. So what he did was he had parts made offshore and shipped to him. He had them all machined offshore. Right. And he did the build up and assembly and everything here. And the rule is if you add more than 51%, anything more than 50%, 51% of the cost to that in the United States, that's a US made product.
Okay.
And Jake Hope, like people found out about it and they threw a fit. They're like, oh, that's some bullshit. And I'm like, that's mid-tech. He's putting a lot of work into it. He's getting parts. Like he's taken the grunt work out of the equation. And he's doing the buildup and everything himself. And having been around, people that do mid-tech work, it's a lot of work. Like basically, you get a box of parts, you got to make them all fit. It's still a ton of work. Chris and Elliot Williamson would put about 20 hours into each knife after they got parts. That was just assembly, fit up, tune up, finishing, and sharpening.
Right.
So basically they were doing the same thing, but they were just doing it all stateside. But at any rate, so Jake Hoback led the charge. It almost got Jason Browse's company shut down. Like people fucking like, oh, that's some bullshit. He lied to us. And I'm like, he didn't lie. He did not break the rules. He followed the trade rules.
Right.
He did more than 51%. As a matter of fact, he's probably doing closer to 75% of the overall cost of that knife was incurred in his shop. And just, it almost ruined his business. And then come 5-6 years later, Jake Hoback had knives that were 100% made in China. And just through a lie of omission, fucking let his vendors sell those knives as American made. And he goes, well, I didn't tell them they were American made. And I was like, but you knew they were selling them that way. And you did not tell them any different.
Yeah. Whenever someone asks where mine, I tell them BezTech makes my production knives,
Yeah. It's just gotten ridiculous where like, oh, well, this guy's an established designer or established maker and I love him, but so I'm not going to get upset. Like Bob Terzola, the godfather of tactical knives. Love that dude. Great dude. We Knife Company makes a lot of his knives. Civivi makes a lot of his knives.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is Bob Terzola now a Chinese company. But that's just I got on a tirade. It just fucking drives me
No,
nuts.
I'm with you. I just it's just so funny though. Like some of the people that have an issue with knives that are made overseas, and then you like lurk their Instagram, and 90% of what you see around them is made in China. It's just like it's just weird. It's weird.
It does happen. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to have a whole bunch of American-made knives. Like, I would
Oh, so
love to
would
see
I.
the price. I would love to see the price of American machining go to a point where it's affordable, but we kind of I mean, we wanted to get stuff done. We wanted no one wanted to do the work for so many years, and now they're like, "Oh, we're losing all this business." Well, we kind of did it to ourselves.
Yeah.
We kind of did.
Hey, what are Medfords? Are those mid-techs?
No, well, no, Greg. As much as I okay, as much as I may have a distaste for Greg and his business practices and the way he deals with things and his customers, Greg does all the machining in house. Greg Medford is an amazing machinist, and his knives that he does do in house. I don't like any of his designs. I just don't like them. Like, it's not. I can't ever get a Medford and say, "Well, this isn't a well-made knife." I just don't like his designs.
Right.
And I don't
understand.
think they're ergonomic. I don't think they're functional. I think they're just like kind of just shitty designs. But the machining on them is great. He is probably one of the best US machine providers. Like, if you're wanting OEM work, he is probably the best in the United States.
Wow.
Like, just hands down, because like the new that medicine fucks with my brain. They put me on some new medication, and it makes it hard to
You're good.
the Striders, the new production Striders that have come out. If you've gotten to handle a new production Strider, those are the best Striders outside of a handful of the customs that I've handled that Mick made personally.
Sure.
Talking to him at a show and seeing stuff, and the one that I owned. Those production Striders that Medford does are the best ones that have ever been on the market. Hands down.
Wow.
They are so good. But that has nothing to do. That's just because of Greg's machining. It's spot on. His stuff is great. His designs just don't speak to me. But Greg's a dick. He's a complete and utter dickhead.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some. Yeah.
I've told the story. Just everybody's gonna be like, "Yeah, you've told this story before," but well, Jason hasn't heard it.
I have not.
I was at Blade Show West in Portland, Oregon. The first year that they did it up there. It was the first Blade Show West ever. I was up there. Greg was there. I had every intention. I was like, I'm gonna go talk to Greg. He's a Marine veteran. I'm a Navy veteran. I wanted to do like a video about American-made knives, veteran-made knives. And there was some Marines, very obviously Marines, standing in front of me, having spent my entire adult life in the military. I obviously can pick them out of a lineup. They have a very distinct look and haircut. And these guys, you could see they're all excited. They were going to go up and talk to Greg Medford, a fellow Marine that's now a knife maker, and they're all stoked. And he walked up and they're like, "Hey, we wanted to talk to you." And he looked at them, and if Greg's having a bad day at a show, he turns into a pissy little bitch. And he looked at these three guys and said, "I'm not here to answer your fucking questions. If you want to buy a knife, buy it. If not, fuck off."
Oh.
And I was like,
oh,
okay. And I have never once interviewed Greg Medford. I've had plenty of chances to interview Greg Medford, and I'm like, I'm just not gonna fucking do it. That's how he treats his customers. Now I've talked to there's another guy. There's a guy named Jeff that works with him. I've talked to him a few times, and I've had him on camera, but I will never have Greg Medford on camera on my channel. Ever.
Wow.
I refuse.
That's
those were not just customers; those were fellow service members.
Yeah,
and fellow Marines for him.
Yeah, I have the utmost respect for those guys. I tattoo them all the time, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guarantee. I bet you do a lot. I bet you do a lot of flesh tags.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of those too. Yeah, the dog tags.
Secure. Dog tags, yeah, the flesh tags.
Yeah, I've done a lot of those. A lot of EGA, Eagle, Globe, and Anchor.
Yeah, the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. I saw a dude get really, really ridiculed by a bunch of his fellow Marines because he went up there and they put it on backwards.
Oh.
And they didn't think about flipping it back and forth like how it was going to be. So it wound up being mirrored, and it went on. And all of his guys were like, "Go check out the new tat," and they were like, "You're a fucking idiot."
Oh, that's awesome.
That's backwards. I'm not gonna lie. I have my name in kanji tattooed on my chest. I was stationed in Japan for 13 years. And I had a friend that started doing tattoos, and I knew my name in kanji, and I found a good image of both the symbols, and we did the thing, and we put it on, and his wife walked by, and she goes, "That's backwards," and we were like, "Oh!" He'd take the stencil pin, the outline pin, and he'd put it on, and his wife was like, "Don't do it, it's backwards," and we were like, "Oh, we almost fucked that up."
Oh, saved.
Yep, she walked by with a beer. She's like, "Don't do that, it's backwards."
That's awesome.
If he had an American wife, I'd been screwed.
Yeah, good thing he didn't.
Yeah.
I love Asians.
Yeah, Bubbles, we were talking about, Bubbles says that's like refusing to buy a PC or a Mac because it's made overseas. So you use Best Tech, right?
Yeah.
How are they to deal with for an OEM? Are they fairly easy to
Yeah. It's there's definitely a language barrier, and I learned pretty early on, you do not use any type of slang. I'd have to do like the spell check on everything I sent them. Yeah, very simple and precise English when talking to them. Does that make sense? Like,
I've made knives with We Knife Company and Artisan, whose their machinists are in China.
Yes. So
so when I did all the work with We, I was doing it through We in China. Artisan is an American company here, but all their machining that they do is in China, and I was dealing directly with the machinists about the design. And it was, yes, I know exactly what you mean. And everybody was like, "Oh, you shouldn't have a problem. You lived in Japan." And I was like, "You do know that Japanese and Chinese are two fucking different languages, right? Like they're different countries."
Yeah, no, yeah.
So,
but yeah,
Gingerfish showed up. How you doing, Gingerfish?
They're good to work with. They're just, yeah. I mean, no complaints really. It's just, I'll tell you what though, like going through when I did the gripper, I mean, when you're sending someone in a different country, literally like tens of thousands of dollars, it is super
stressful,
dude. Oh my God. And because when I did the gripper, I hadn't dealt with them yet. Right. So I'm like, these people could literally take my money and I could do nothing about it.
Okay. So, Brian Nadeau has a horror story about dealing with an offshore company that was providing him. Have you ever heard about like what happened with him? He bought like, I want to say $30,000 worth of carbon fiber from a company, and they basically just never gave him anything. I think it was Fat Carbon. I want to say it was either Fat Carbon that picked up his order and corrected it, or it was the other, like, I can't remember. At any rate,
some sort of horror story.
One company picked it up and delivered it, but he lost like $30,000, and he's never gotten that money back.
That's crazy, dude.
And they're just like, he doesn't have any recourse. Yeah. And he was like, I've got to get this knife. I've got to get this carbon plate. There you go. Carbon plate. Paul Mills says. Plate.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah. And he talks about it. It's like that's one of the things, like anytime I've had him on a live feed, Brian's like, I will tell you all right now, don't ever deal with carbon plate. And then we have to go back through that whole horror story of that.
Oh, that sounds so bad. And that's why, after I did the gripper, because the gripper was, you know what else? Something people don't know that might buy knives like the gripper or, anything like these is they cost more than you think they cost.
That's like, you're sending like a $50 knife for $300. I'm like,
no.
You're absolutely full of shit.
I will tell you, on the gripper, I did not even come close to doubling my money. Not even close. And that's without shipping, paying the website guy, boxes, fucking my time, right? Like none of that.
Oh,
the patches.
I know. I'm friends with Chris and Elliot Williamson over at Fair and Forge Knife Works, and they do all of their stuff now as OEM. And that still makes them more money than when they were doing mid-tech. Because on a mid-tech, they made enough money to make the next run. And they were like, we can't keep doing this. And so they did a couple production knives and they took off and were really popular.
Nice.
And then they were like, we're not doing that. So they did all OEM. That's all they do now is OEM. And they will take some other OEM knives and modify them like
Sure.
their maker's choice stuff. But they're the same thing. Everybody thinks that you make like a mint on an OEM, and that's why I've never done one. I can't afford
No.
it, and the amount I would make on it, it's too much of a risk. Because then on top of that, I got to take the time to QA every one of those knives.
Every one of
I
them.
have
Yep.
I have to package them back. I have to open them. I have to package them. If it's a fixed blade and I want to have soft loops, I've got to buy soft loops here stateside
Yep.
and then add them to the package for every one because they don't have soft loops. I don't know why they don't have soft loops in Japan, but they don't. And so all that goes into it. And Chris and Elliot spent on one run of knives, spent like eight or 9 grand just on soft loops.
I believe it.
Two per box that they were putting in, and they come unassembled. They had to assemble all the soft loops, put them together so they could stick them in a bag because you can't send people unassembled stuff. They will screw it up every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because soft loops come, people don't know this. Soft loops come in a box with like 3 different pieces. That you got to screw on the parts to make them so that you can stick them in a box. Then people can use them. But yeah, everybody's like, oh, they're making so much money. I was like, they're not. Like somebody was complaining about Eric Oaks' new knife. And like, yeah, fucking $400 for a $50 knife. And I was like,
No.
maybe some of those companies' in-house knives are like $50 when you look at it. But when you figure all the cost that goes into specific requirements that a maker's going to throw into it, it's going to cost more.
Yeah, funny thing is when I was doing the gripper, the first knife, I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to make some money and blah, 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 right? Like, I did make some, I'm not going to lie, but not what other knife makers were telling me. They were saying, if you spend $100 on it, you're going to charge $300. You want to triple it, right? I didn't even come close to doubling it, like not even close.
Well, I mean, you probably like they're saying sell it at that because what they didn't tell you was the underlying thing. If you make it at 100, sell it at 300 because if you don't, you're not going to make any money.
Right.
And that's everybody's. If it's $100, you got to triple it because if you don't, by the time you eat the shipping cost and all the time and all the other things that go with it, and the time it's going to take you to get them all sold,
yep,
you're not going to make a penny. If you sell them, for 200, you're going to lose money on the deal.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely a learning experience. This has gone a little smoother with the tripper, but
I
like
that's a good looking knife. Let me put that up full screen again. That's a good looking knife. And like I said, I'm typically not a fan of the Tonto design, but that's a good looking knife.
Yeah.
I like how those handles I like how they're a little bit more contoured down. Like they've got more of a swell on the inside.
Yeah, it's pretty comfy, man. It's only 3 inches, so it's a lot smaller than my first one.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that one's got that big forward finger choil on it. Like you can get around it and get a hold of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I love the front finger choil just because when you're doing boxes, I hate it when the box gets caught in that little sharpening choil or,
Yeah.
I like being right behind the edge, especially on things like boxes or whatever,
Well, and if you've got really big hands, it can take like I've got really big hands. Like I wear like triple XL gloves. And so for me, the lack of a forward finger choil makes it a lot harder for me to use a lot of knives because it gives me that extra grip up forward.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. Kind of cool. So they're all numbered. There's 100 black and 100 of the dark gray.
Yeah.
And I put the number on the side of the pocket clip. You probably won't be able to see it, but it's hidden right there on the side.
Yeah.
So
well, I've got you. You're on a small enough screen anyway. I might bring it back up. Maybe we can see it. Let's see. Can you show it again? Yeah, I can see it. I can see
number 42 right there. And then my little G logo. And I do that so the blade's sterile, like no branding anywhere on the knife, just on the pocket clip.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I've never had a problem with that, but I've had people like I had a guy comment on a video and he was like, why they got to put all that crap on the pocket clip? And I was like, you guys bitch about it on the blade. And now you're bitching about it on the pocket clip. I was like, make up your fucking mind. Like, you guys just
Yeah.
aren't ever going to be happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like the G too. That way, when it's in your pocket, you see the little G.
Yeah.
Logo.
I like your logo. That's why I wanted to make sure I got it. And I texted, I messaged you. I was like, hey, can you send me the logo? And you didn't send it. I was like, I bet I can find it online. I wasn't going to bother you anymore. I was like,
yeah, just do it. I don't care, dude. I mean, easy to deal with.
Bubbles here says, because Bubbles works, I think Bubbles does a lot of like manufacturing stuff or secondary stuff. Every time another set of hands touches a product, it increases the cost. General rule of markup is cost 3 times as much as it costs to make.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yep. And that's an industry standard. Like, I've never done an OEM because of that. I don't have the starter money to do an OEM run. I just don't. Because if I don't sell all those knives, I'm fucked.
Yeah,
so
it's
to take
stressful.
to take 10 grand and put into a run of knives is just, for me, it's just not going to work, because you're taking a big gamble. Like, have my fixed blades been popular? Yeah. But am I going to be able to sell those fixed blades at $300? No. There's a reason I told the company that did my last design, the company that did my design for my small little fixed blade, the Sea Snake. There's a reason I told them I wanted it to be an under $100 knife.
Yeah.
And it has sold really well. Do I make a lot of money on it? No. But guess what? More people know it, and then more people find my channel through it, and more people buy it. And I still make royalties on that.
Nice. Yeah, I tried on this 3-inch one, this Tripper. It's $250.
$250.
Yeah.
Let's see here. That's a really good looking knife.
I mean, I don't know. I tried to beat because everyone, think about it. A 3-inch knife usually starts at 300, right?
Yeah.
Like for this type of knife. And they start at that. And then like companies like Arcane, theirs are like 360, 380, and they're made by the same company with the same materials.
There's a lot of bells and whistles on Israel's knives too, that would add to the cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're pretty, yeah, but also though, like the machine time on like this, like all that frag, that's all extra time on the CNC machine. This is M390. These are fucking 20 CV or CPM.
That's basically the same thing. It's the same. Yeah. It's the same recipe. It's like the difference between Nestle and Pepperidge Farm's chocolate chip cookies. They're both chocolate chip cookies.
Nice.
It's also, like one uses butter and one uses margarine.
Well, companies, and then like Veros, they're fucking expensive too, but they're also have a big name. I'm like a nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have
the news for you.
Those guys do.
If you want to, I told Joe this. I was like, don't be offended when I tell you this. It's like, if you want to make a knife and have it be like exactly the opposite of anything I would make in a knife, it would be one of your designs. Like, they're all counterintuitive. Like, everything about like the isotope, like all of the things, like the low spot where you want access to your lock bars on the wrong side, like the pocket clip is in the wrong place. Like everything about it, I'm like, everything about this is stuff that I would absolutely avoid in a knife. Like, you have managed to take everything I hate about a knife and incorporate it into one knife.
Oh my God, that's fucking funny.
And he was like, "Oh, well, it's not for everyone." I was like, "It's, in my opinion, it's not for anyone." And then he laughed, and I was like, "All right, I guess you think it's funny, but it's pretty much trash."
Yeah, I like this knife, this Axon. I forget what they go for new, but there is not more work in this knife than this knife.
There's not. There's more machining
time. This has way more work in it, right?
Okay, so those James Brand knives that came out. Do you remember seeing those? I can't remember if they're Reat or We Knife Company. But
good action though. Good action.
Yeah, but so like those knives were like $200 or $300 more than any of the other knives that were done by that company. I was like, well, they're the same. It's the same company. Like, you're gonna get the same action, you get the same work. Like, there's nothing about that knife that makes it that much more than any of the other knives that were produced by that company,
Right.
except that name that was on it. And then I looked at them and I was like, and they're just so plain designs. Like I just couldn't get
Well,
past it.
and but the truth is also like I don't want to sell. I don't want to be the guy that. Let's just say something magical happened and I accumulated 50,000 freaking followers on Instagram and everyone wanted my knives. I'll never raise the price.
Yeah.
No, I
Well,
really
and that's
won't. And
you
like
see. No, I mean, who?
Javon tells me all the time, oh, well, you should blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I hear you, but I also do this because I enjoy it. And as long as I make my money back, and if I make a little over the top, that's cool. But I actually am doing this because I enjoy it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But,
if you make a little bit, if you make some money on each run, it's
right.
going to start adding up. Like you're not just
But
making the money to make the next run. And
but if
no one
like,
would expect you to do that.
but if I like ever came to a point where like, oh, my knives would sell out like in a weekend, right? I
Yeah.
wouldn't be like, oh, cool, everyone wants them. Let's jack the price up $50 on these. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Like,
It absolutely does.
I don't know. I know
Like,
maybe
okay.
a little bit if things go up in price, right? Then
Well,
I
that's what
might
I say. You
adjust.
got to account for, you've got to
Sure.
account for inflation. Like,
But I
so
wouldn't just raise the price because all of a sudden people are buying my knives.
exactly.
I'm
Well,
saying.
like, Chris Reeves Knives, and I'm really good friends with Tim Reeve, Chris's son. And we were talking about it, and people threw a fit when they raised the price of the Sabenza. And I was like, here's the thing. Like the price of the Sabenza had stayed pretty much the same for a very long time. It
Yeah.
would go up a little bit. And people are like, oh, well, they raised it this much. And I'm like, yeah, but look at the price of inflation. They're like, oh, with this. And I was like, you got to figure they have to keep up with inflation, not just the price of stuff. We've got tariffs going on. It was hard to get materials. You couldn't get stuff during like pandemic time and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then you have to think the price of inflation to pay their employees has went up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I do know what you mean. It's like I have clients I've been tattooing for a couple decades. It's
Yeah.
like literally this happened last weekend. I tattoo a guy I used to tattoo literally 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I do the tattoo. It's $500. It took me like 5 hours. It was a nice tattoo.
Yeah.
And he asked me the price. I tell him, I'm like $600. I'm giving you a deal because I've tattooed you before. And he does one of these. Oh, well, you charged me $250 for this. I'm like, dude, gas was $3 a gallon when we did that.
Right?
My rent was $1,600 a month, not $2,600 a month.
Right. My rent has went up. My rent has went up $100 in the last year.
Dude, mine went up $130 this year and $100 last year. They raised it to the day of a year. But we're moving.
Yeah.
We're moving. We put in our 30 days notice and we got a house finally.
Yeah. I don't want to move. I love where I'm at here right now. I have a really good landlord. I owned a house.
Nice.
And I was like, this is some fucking bullshit. Because the nice thing when you own a house, like it sounds cool. Like I own my own house, but like when something breaks, you can't just call somebody.
No.
So you got to fucking fix that shit.
I'm scared about moving. We're only moving because we're blessed with my wife's family is basically gifting us a house. So
yeah,
that's the only reason. I couldn't do it on my own.
Like, so when you buy a house, like you don't, everybody's like, well, you own your own house. It's an investment. I was like, I don't own my house. I rent it from the bank and they're a much less forgiving landlord. Like my old landlord was like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but it's like the 20th and you haven't paid the rent. I was like, I thought for sure I sent that off. Sorry. And they were like really cool about it. And then I bought the house from them. And then the bank is like, hey, motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
You missed a payment. Story. You owe us an extra $300 on the next payment.
Oh my
and
God,
if you miss another payment, you're like, don't miss the payment. And I was like, it's Happy Haptics. You got to remember, he's up in the LA area. It's not insane. Like that's actually really $2,600 is quite affordable rent in the Los Angeles area. Mine's $2,250. But I've
Yeah,
got a three bedroom house with 2-car garage and a yard
Oh,
and all
nice.
that. So, but no,
that's-
like if something breaks, I just call Rudy, and I'm like, hey Rudy, I don't want to bother you, but like, hey, no, this doesn't work, or the
Yeah.
washing machine quit working. He's like, okay, and I'll help him. Like I'll always help. He's always cool. But the fact is, like, it's just, I don't want to say that you shouldn't buy a house because it is an investment. But the fact is, for me, and especially having been in the military for that long, I don't want to have that additional shit to deal with.
Yeah, like I said, if we weren't blessed with my wife's parents, you know, helping us, we wouldn't have a house. We'd just live where we live now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dean Griffin says, I've been watching the mailbox for that tripper any day now.
Yeah, it's coming. I shipped the rest of the pre-orders. What's today? Friday? Yesterday.
No, it's Saturday. Today's Saturday.
Oh, whatever. You know what
And I
mean.
know that because I'm doing a
Thursday.
live feed. That's the only, you know what's funny? Like, there
I
is
shipped
no
them Thursday.
empiric, there's no actual data or proof that today is the day we say it is. We just have to trust that someone kept count from the first Saturday. Like, it's like, who knows
Yeah,
if
I
it's
don't know.
actually Saturday?
But yeah, I started shipping the pre-orders Tuesday, and I ran out of boxes halfway through, so I had to order more. And then
Where do you order your boxes from? What do you do? You just do it from Uline?
Yeah, I'm looking in my garage right now. Shit, I don't think I have any around here right now. They're in my car. But yeah, I just get boxes and I stamp them myself and sign the insides. Oh, here, hold on.
Happy Haptic says, is it worth living there? I live in one of the most desirable cities in the world, and my mortgage doesn't even cost that much. My mortgage didn't cost as much as my rent, but there's a lot of things that go with it that I don't have to worry about. But
I just buy
come to
these
Montreal.
boxes. You know.
Yeah.
Do a
I
little
gotcha.
stamp, sign them, throw a card, sticker, patch.
Happy
And then-
Haptics. I got news for you. We were talking about it earlier. You can't send a folding knife to Canada anymore. So you know what? You can take Montreal and shove it right up your pee hole.
You can't? That's so freaking
No,
good.
so I was talking about earlier before I was killing time while I was waiting on you to come on. I have a paying member that lives in Canada, and he won a box worth $600 worth of knives.
Oh wow.
And I've been trying to figure out, like, I sent it to him once and I screwed up the customs form, and so they sent it back to me. So I lost the cost of shipping on that. And then I watched a video. I was trying to figure out how I'm going to get him to him, and their customs are weird. If you can open a knife with a wrist flick, they won't send it. And I'm like, well, if the detent's strong enough there, and then Kevin Cleary did a video, and he was like, well, now what they do is they open the knife part way, and if they can flick it with a wrist, then it's a centrifugal knife. And so he was saying he talked to him. Yeah, he said he talked to him, the customs, and they were like, well, basically any folding knife is going to fail. Like if a folding knife comes to us, it's going to get confiscated. And so I was like, maybe if I take them apart. So there's a phone number where you can contact their customs. I can't remember what the acronym is for it, but I looked it up after watching Kevin's video. And I was like, look, I've got a question. Like I have a YouTube subscriber that won a giveaway. I've got some folding knives. She's like, look, if you send because I was like, if I take them apart and put them in a box, she's like, we're going to immediately assume that all those knives are going to fail. We're going to confiscate everything in the box. I was like, are you serious? She goes, yep. So you can't even take them apart. If you did, you would have to take them apart and put them in 2 separate boxes, which means that I would have to send like 8 or 10 separate boxes to this guy. And I'm like, I just can't do it. So we're going to do a redraw of that $600 worth of knives and on the channel.
That's crazy.
So
that sucks.
It's just ridiculous. So yeah.
That's too bad.
Okay. You can, okay. The other thing, but at the end of the day, it's going to be so much more expensive to get it through, if you get a knife through vendors or retailers in Canada, it's going to be super expensive.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
So, and the other thing is, fuck Canada. I don't like you guys' fucking politics. So screw it. I'm not coming up there. You can live in Montreal. That's fine. I get it. Like, you guys love your country. That's fine. Just, I'm not going up to America's hat.
Yeah.
So,
no,
and the fact is, people are like, well, you need to get out of San Diego. I'm not in San Diego for me. My daughter is part of the U.S. figure skating team. Her coach is here. She skates out of here. We've got, I've got so much stuff. Like if once my daughter goes to college and everything, but if I live here in California, when she starts college, she basically gets to go to any state school for free
Oh, nice.
because I'm a veteran. And I'm like, everybody's like, oh, you need to get out of here. I'm not doing it for me. I fucking hate it here. Like, I hate California.
Yeah.
I'll get out
no,
of
I
here in a
heard.
freaking heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's definitely getting weird. you
Yeah.
know.
So, well, I'll tell you what. I know it's only been an hour and 43 minutes. We'll definitely do this again. And I'll get with you. I'll send you my address if you want to send me some prototypes or anything that you've got, like seconds and
Yeah.
stuff. Even if it's stuff that you need back.
You like this?
Yeah, I do like that.
I'll send you one of these.
I do. I like
check
that.
out.
I'd like to see the prototype for the other one that you showed. That one. And if it's stuff like I say this all the time. I'm not trying to get free knives. So if you've got stuff that needs to come back, I'll just do the review and then I'll get it back to you.
Nice.
I'm not that far away. Worst case scenario, I'll bring it to you.
Cool.
So
Yeah, I'll send you one.
and then-
I'll send you both.
Yeah.
To check out for sure. I think you'll like this one when you hold it.
I
feel
love
it.
a good Warrenclyffe. Warrenclyffes are one of my favorite. Like they are my favorite blade shape at this point.
Oh, one thing that's going to be changed: the front finger choil is going to be bigger. It's a little
Nice.
tight. Not for
Okay.
me, but for guys with big hands, it's too small. So
Yeah.
just know that that's going to be opened up a good bit. So
Okay.
just so when you get it, you know that will be changed.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like, I would like you to send me ones that I can use as opposed to
Okay.
like something that you're going to send back out to someone. But yeah, I absolutely, because I like to absolutely be able to test a knife. I can do a review just like hey, this is just I'm looking at it kind of
Uh-huh.
review,
Sure.
but I much prefer to be sent a knife and they're like, I don't care what you do with it. Like,
Okay.
you can fuck the finish up on it if you want. I'm like, cool. I'm going to fucking beat on this.
Yeah.
And those reviews always go better because then you really get a good feel for the knife.
Yeah, I'll definitely send you. I'll probably send you one where you can just do a nice review and then one you can use the shit out of.
Awesome. That'd be great. So yeah, guys, I'm probably going to end this here just shortly. Like I said, I know it's early, but on top of the fact that that medication is just making me stupid. I didn't get much sleep last night and it's currently 79 degrees out here with all the everything shut down and the lights on and no fan running. It's just pretty miserable at the moment. It's not that it's that hot. I'm sitting in a leather chair.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got
Sticky.
swamp ass.
Oh, that's swamp ass. I had that in the
So-
tattoo shop earlier. We don't have an AC in there, so yeah, sweaty
Yeah.
Marines and tattoo guys. A lot of
Yeah.
sweat going on there.
Fair and Forge Knife Works, their shop, they were trying to keep costs down, so they never ran the air conditioning. Well, Chris, the younger of the two, was very he was fiscally sound for the company. And Elliot was just like, fuck it, I don't care. And so there'd be days I'd be back in the grinding room and it's like 90 degrees back there and I'm just pouring sweat. And the second Chris is like, all right, I've had enough. I'm out. It'd be like a Friday, like 4. He's like, I'm not sticking around. And you'd see Elliot just like kind of look or be waving at Chris, like, see you later, brother. And you'd see his brother get in the car. He's like, go over there, fucking close that door and turn that goddamn air conditioner on. He's like, I can't live like this.
Yeah, it sucks being miserable.
Yeah. So,
Well, thank you for
Guys-
letting me come on.
no, thank you very much. And like I said, everybody definitely follow him. It's Brass Brigade, all one word, over on Instagram. And thanks so much. Like I said, you were just a Hail Mary. I was like, ooh, I haven't talked to Jason. I saw you post that up and I did this. I posted it to my story. The
Yeah,
thing
sorry
about
it was
the
late, dude.
deliveries.
Sorry I
Oh no,
was
it's
late.
like I said, it's better late than never. But like I reached out to you after I saw that when I posted. I was like, oh, I should see if he wants to come on tomorrow. So yeah, I was absolutely grateful because I don't think I could have done an hour and 47 minutes just sitting here looking at myself talking. It would have been very, very
I
boring
couldn't.
on a day like today.
I couldn't do that.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
And it definitely starts to drain on you. Like, what the fuck am I going to talk about for 2 hours? So
Well,
Dean
I
Griffin
think you did a
says
good
he's going
job.
to reach out to you. I want to
Cool.
get ahead. I want to go ahead and get on the list for the gripper and grab a fixie. So,
nice.
yeah, before we go, what are your fixed blades, your custom fixed blades? What do they usually run for a custom fixie?
For like a 6.5-inch J-Cal, which is like this Ultim guy right here.
Yeah.
This is
like
one I use. That's why the finish is wearing off. I mean, I use this one. Usually 160-ish, 180.
Yeah.
And then the smaller dude is
I like that.
like 150-ish. He's 5 inches. He's a little dude.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good. I like that blade.
But you can get a good full. Well, I can get a 4-finger grip on it. You probably couldn't, but I can.
It's a lot of knives that I can't get a full 4-finger grip on.
And then, but yeah, no, I really like these. The sweet one, I think, if you want the micro EDC fixie, then the 5-inch.
Yeah.
But if you want something that's actually comfortable, like really comfortable, the 6.5 inches is it, and that's this one.
Yeah.
And then you just basically tell me, a blade shape. If you want a little bit of a hooked warny or, a drop point.
Yeah.
And then I just sort of make it to order, and that's it. This one has a full flat grind.
I like that cleaver blade on that, even with the big hole in it. It looks like something you would see hanging in a butcher shop.
Yeah.
Do you do that spine work on the grinder, or do you do you actual file work?
No, I do it on the grinder. I'm too lazy.
That's the easiest. It's so much fucking easier than trying
to.
I tried to do actual file work one time, and I was like, that's not ever gonna happen.
Well, that's how it started. I did it first with the file, and I was like, F this, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was trying to do it with a file. I was trying to do that Ivy design. You know what I'm talking about? The Ivy pattern. And I drew it all out, and I was doing it. And I got halfway done with it. I was like, my hands hurt. I was like, this is just ridiculous. And I threw the knife away. It was a cheap knife anyway. I was just practicing.
Yeah, and then they come with Kydex and one soft loop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then I usually put these little jumps now on the Kydex.
All the jumps. Gotta have all the jumps.
Yeah.
I like that. I also like when folks do like a lip on the back side of it. So you just put your thumb on it and pop. But I like the jumps on them.
The jump, I don't know. I just think it looks kind of cool. But I mean, I could do either one. I mean, if someone has a preference,
I like the fact that you've got a lot of holes there, so you can do multiple. Like if you wanted to put a like an ulti clip on it or something like that, you got multiple holes for it.
Yeah, and then if you want to do the weird scout carry, or you got options. So
scout, hey, I'm gonna take you off full screen and chastise you. There's nothing weird about scout carry. Scout carry is amazing. That is the best way to carry a knife.
Oh no, I'm not. I don't dislike it. I'm just saying if you want to get weird.
Just kidding.
Everything's weird.
I'm 49, and I've put on a bunch of weight since I've retired, and I've got stuff from a medication that makes me gain weight. I've noticed that carrying a fixed blade vertically in my pocket for some knives is fine, but other knives, it definitely gets to hitting in the beer gut love handles area.
You know what? I want to start carrying. I want to make a little, Kydex, and I want to carry it like scout carry, but on the front.
Yeah.
Like to the left on the front of my belt, almost like if you would appendix carry a pistol. But
that's how I carry. That's where I carry scout carry. I move it like forward. So like across, like where my belt buckle is, the handle of the knife is basically across that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely awesome to carry like that.
Okay.
That's how I carry. So my little fixed blade design, the sea snake, if I carry it, that's how I'm going to carry it. That's where I'm going to carry it. So it has a neck sheath, like for around the house, I'll do that. And I got to tell you, like carrying it that way is it's the easiest way. And if you've got a knife you're carrying for self-defense, that is the easiest place to get to. It's just a natural position.
Thinking.
Yeah. Because if you, like a lot of people stand with their hand like at their waist area, like in their belt loop or in their pocket. And it's just right there. It's like the quickest way.
Yeah. That's kind of why I was thinking that. And it just, when I sort of, you can't see me right now, but I'm actually putting it. Yeah, exactly what you're saying, where it's like, it would be just left of my belt buckle, the handle.
Exactly.
draw across like that.
Yep.
You know, whatever.
And it doesn't pattern. It hides it. You can wear it with your shirt. Like even if you have a shirt tucked in and you've rolled it out over, like, pull it up a little bit and let it roll. You can't even see it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try that. I haven't done it yet, but it seems ideal. So I'll give that a try, dude.
It's a great way to carry, especially it's like something that you might be carrying for a self-defense knife. So
nice.
well, it has been 2 hours, and I don't want to eat up too much of the YouTube knife tube time because there might be somebody else that's going to try and go live. Guys, go check out Jason over at Brass Brigade, all one word, on Instagram. Have you got a website?
Yes, I do. It is, what is it? Hold on. It's thebrassbrigade.com.
Thebrassbrigade.com.
You can't see it, but yeah, it's thebrassbrigade.com.
That's pretty easy. If you can spell Brass Brigade, just put the in front of it and a .com. You should be able to do it.
One word for the website. Or you can go to my...
you guys here.
Yeah, even you guys, you people. Or you can just go to my Instagram, and I think there's a link in the, my description or whatever. In my bio or whatever it's called,
But yeah, check him out. Jason's been awesome. We've talked for a couple years now on Instagram. It's the first time we've actually talked to each other at all, actually, but it's been pretty fun. I will definitely get with you. I'll make a trip up there.
You can come by and pick some stuff up, or you can just send me your address and I can send you a couple things to check out.
That's probably what's going to work. I wanted to ask you while we're here, because I hadn't asked you, I was going to try and surprise everybody with this. We have an event in Banning, California on the 22nd of July. Beyond EDC sending some stuff. Swags from Rosecraft is coming. I will be there. They're going to have, I think that Daniel from Precision Knife Works is coming. If you would like to come, if you have things that you have not sold pre-order, I will get you in touch with my little buddy who's setting everything up so that we can make sure that you have a spot that you can sell stuff, or if you want, or if you just want to come and hang out, it's going to be beer, blades, and barbecue. We have a band that's going to be there, and it's going to be in Banning, California, which is just not that far for you. It's about the same distance for you as it is for me. It's out there near Palm Springs.
Oh, nice. I mean, I'll have some stuff I could I'll have some stuff.
So I'm going to
fixed blades or some trippers or something like that,
If you send me your cell phone number via DM on Instagram, I will send you a text to you and my little buddy Nico. He's running kind of the logistics of it, and then I'm going to do all the advertising. But it's going to be like, people are going to have, like, they can buy pre-ordered tickets and stuff like that. So
cool.
There you go. It looks like we're going to have Brass Brigade at the event as well. So we'll get to meet Jason in person.
Yeah, I'm sure I can make it out there. I'm sure I can figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if you can't,
there's enough notice, so I have time to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I kind of wanted to, I was going to, if you couldn't make it to the live feed, I was going to talk to you about it, like, just in Instagram. But this is, so my buddy Bubbles here says, "Oh shit, I'll bring money specifically for one of those."
Nice.
So we might hold off. We might hold off on you giving me stuff unless you just want to get it on the channel. Well, it won't. Here's the thing. It won't make a difference if you send it to me then or now. I've got so much stuff that I'm trying to work on for the channel. I already have 2 weeks worth of videos shot. So, like, if I film a video today, you won't see it for like 2 weeks. There's a good chance of it. I have a couple that I fast tracked, like a couple videos about this Spyderco that I was gifted, just because I wanted to be able to carry it and not have everybody be like, "Where'd that come from? I haven't seen that on the channel yet," and be able to talk about it. So, but yeah, definitely, maybe we'll just do it that way, that you just give me the stuff, hand it off to me there.
Cool,
and if you can't make it, we can work it out so that you can send stuff that we can then sell for you if you'd like.
Yeah, if I can't make it, I'll just we'll figure it out. I'll send you some stuff to try to,
Yeah. Well, it probably actually make more sense to send it directly to my buddy, because he's going to be there for the setup.
Yeah, whatever.
So,
well, just let me know. I'll send you my number after this.
Yeah. So anybody that's interested in that, what's going to happen is we're going to have barbecue. There's going to be a band. There is a tap takeover, which means that there is a brewery that's sending all the alcohol that's going to be there. So it's going to be a single brand. So it's not going to be like, I like the tap house up there, but a lot of times they don't have some of the stuff that I would drink. and I pretty much have quit drinking, especially with this new medicine.
Mhm.
It's going to be fun. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on up there. Like I said, we're going to have Beyond EDC, Artisan Cutlery and CJRB stuff there, Rosecraft stuff, Swags is going to be there with some giveaway stuff. And so that's that 4 companies. Ferrum Forge Knife Works is going to be there. Bob Terzola may come just as a guest. He's not bringing any knives. And Jason's going to be there. And I had one more person I'm trying to get a hold of, but I haven't heard from them and see if they want to come up. So I'm not going to announce that yet, but I think that it's going to be something cool. And then we're going to start working on next year's. I want it to turn into like a big event because up there, Palm Springs, Inland Empire, those guys never get hit by any of the like knife stuff. So there's a lot of knife guys up there, but it's always like, oh, you got to drive like 2-3 hours. So
yeah, I'd be down. I'm going to try to go. So yeah, but worst case, I will definitely have some stuff there for you to show off or whatever, your buddy.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, we're going to end this. We did run all the way to a 2-hour thing. So
there you go.
But ask him what's his next live stream. Dan, who are you asking? I think they're asking, what's your next live stream?
Who, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I just wing it, dude. Whenever you guys ask me, that's how it usually works out, you know?
That's like, people are like, why are your live streams on Instagram so sporadic and weird? I'm like, it's just whenever I don't have, I tell people like, you could do.
I'll post on my Instagram, like from now on when I'm doing one, I'll make sure I post. I usually don't even post it on my Instagram. I just show up on them, but I'll post it so people are more aware if they want to, check something out or whatever.
People are like, hey, you don't stream on your gaming channel very often that you set up, and you don't do live streams on Instagram. I was like guys, to do 7 videos a week and 3 live feeds is about 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. Like when we get done with this, I've got like 5 or 6 hours of editing to do.
That's
at
crazy,
a minimum.
dude.
And people are like, well, it's never the filming. It's never the filming. Like if you do a YouTube channel, I'm going to tell you right now, Jason, it's never the filming. The filming literally takes maybe 40 minutes for every 15 minutes of videos.
Right.
Well, not that, probably about 30 minutes, but that includes the setup. Once you start editing, you get about 5 minutes of usable footage for every hour of editing.
That's crazy.
A 15, like if you see a 15-minute video come up on my channel, that means it took me about 3 hours to edit that video. Because to try and get the audio consistent. And even when you do, it sounds fine on your computer speakers. And then you listen to it on your phone. You're like, that sounds like trash.
Oh, man.
So,
well, you know what I'm going to do after this? I'm going to go watch a guy movie because the chick and the kid aren't here. So I can watch whatever movie I want to watch.
They have the director's cut of Arnold Schwarzenegger Commando on Amazon Prime.
Is it good?
I mean, you got to buy
Commando.
it. Well, they added, so there's a lot of additional carnage in it that got cut out for, So you have to buy it. It's not free, but absolutely you can. That's my plan is while I'm editing, I'm going to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger blow up a bunch of people. You said that and I'm like, we have the same plan, sir.
Oh, yes. So we do. Well, thanks again. Yeah, I definitely will be talking to you and I'll get some stuff sent out to you, or you can come grab it from me at the shop or in my garage or whatever you want to do.
Well, like I said, if you're coming out to the event, I can just get it from you then.
Okay.
That's like a month from now. It's not that big a rush.
Not that.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
I've literally got probably 80 knives here that I have to get through for review.
Oh yeah.
Before I can get to anything. Like there's a couple people that have sent me stuff and I told them, I was like, all right, I'll frontline those because they're like, can you get them done? Because I want to have them on the channel for free publicity, basically. There's some people that will send me free knives. They're like, hey, I will give you this knife if you do your review. And I was like, just because you gave me a knife, it doesn't get a free pass. And they're like, no, I just want to get it out in front of people. And so usually I do the unboxing like that day and then first day in pockets, and then I'll put it on a shelf and it'll sit there for 3-4 weeks before I get around to actually doing like any work with it. Yeah.
Right.
So, all right.
Cool.
Well, I will talk to you later, Jason. I definitely appreciate you stepping in on short notice as a guest. It was great. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning, but it definitely was a lot of fun. So,
well, thank you.
And I'd like to remind you guys, Coffee Brand Coffee, channel sponsor. You can use the coupon code Crazy Sharp to get some of the best coffee you're ever going to get. They have 4 new flavors. 3 of them are cold brew bags. They have a raspberry, they have a blueberry, and then something else. And then they also have a orange creamsicle regular flavor. And they also started doing some of their most popular flavors as K-Cups. So, and if you can afford to support channels, please do so. I'm not saying just mine. If you want to drop a super chat on someone's channel, everybody loves it. But I would prefer that you go join my membership. We hang out. We do all kinds of stuff. I do exclusive members content for the paying members. We have the Gilded server where everybody chats and hangs out. It's awesome. The Blackberry Cream, Dan Griffin said Dean Griffin just said he got his Blackberry Cream coffee brand coffee. Is my favorite coffee, period, hands down right now. It's amazing.
I got to try it.
That's great. I'll send you a link.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
And I'll send you a link to it. You can check into their business. They are absolutely apolitical. They do not support any political causes. None of the money you give them will be used against you. So therefore, if you buy coffee, you don't have to worry about them supporting gun control or any of the other things that currently might be going on in the world that you don't agree with. It's a completely guilt-free purchase. So
love that.
I got to go. I've got stuff to do. And remember, Cindy Peppercorn, she knew what she was doing.
Bye, guys.
Guys, I'm out. Oh, I owe you guys something before you go. I owe you guys 2 things before we go.
They call me Cuba Pete. I'm the king of a rumba beat. When I play the maracas, I go chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom. Yeah.
Dancing Cat and my new favorite, Arnold Schwarzenegger, as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
It is a very rare diamond.
Not that one. Wrong one.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, bees fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I?
Guys, I love you all. I spend my days looking for random things I can throw into videos and live feeds for you all. So I'll see you later. Jason, once again, thank you very much. Guys, I'm out. I've got things to do. Visit my sponsors. Please support the channel. The more purchases, the more chance I'm going to win the contest for the month. I'll see you guys later. I'm out.